It's Today in Web3. This is our weekend review, and today we're going to be reviewing the news from Thursday the 25th and Friday the 26th. It was very slow news days, not much interesting stuff there for me and you, so we're going to condense them into one day. So let's get started. On Thursday, Binance temporarily suspended transactions on the Multichain bridge because of long delays in transaction times. Now, this was a bridge to Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum from other tokens such as Super, Spell, Phantom, and altogether around 10 tokens. Multichain tweeted this: while most of the cross-chain routes of multi-chain protocol are functioning well, some of the cross-chain routes were unavailable due to force majeure, and at the time for service to resume is unknown. And you might wonder, why is it unknown? Aren't you working on it? Well, allegedly, supposedly, nobody's there anymore because Chinese authorities arrested multi-chain team members, and that law enforcement has now control of the crypto wallet containing $1.5 to $1.6 billion worth of digital assets. And it's rumors that the Shanghai police arrested people, and this prompted a 520% spike in the daily bridge volume. Basically, the rumors came around that they were getting arrested. People tried to start getting their tokens off the bridge, and they only got out, it looks like, around 18 million. I'm not too sure why more wasn't out, but now the Chinese authorities have $1.5 to $1.6 billion of funds in the wallet. Now, there's two red flags in this story that I don't understand why nobody spotted this, and there is actually that much money on this chain. Number one, this was operating in Shanghai. People were there in Shanghai operating this chain. China's banned crypto. They cracked down multiple times. We're talking about early Binance. When Binance was launching, it was based in Shanghai. They cracked down on it. They cracked down on multiple exchanges in Shanghai. They cracked down on Bitcoin miners. And so why would you build a blockchain crypto business in China? That's the one. That's the first red flag. And also, Vitalik has always been very critical of bridges. He said cross-chain bridges, and this is from a blog that he wrote, you want to try to minimize how much you rely on the bridges. Hold all your assets on the chain where they originate, because they said that there's high risk for hacks, high risk for failures, high risk of, Chinese officials coming in and arresting your team and taking your wallets. Moving to another place in the world, we're talking about Brazil, and Brazil is looking at their CBDC, and they select 14 participants for their CBDC pilot. They had 36 interest proposals from over 100 institutions, and they picked a lot of banks, corporations, and so on and so forth, some of them originating from Brazil, but also Visa and Microsoft as well. And I think this is interesting because this goes into Wednesday's news when Ron DeSantis was very anti-CBDC. I am anti-CBDC for privacy reasons and concerns. He signed a bill to say that CBDCs will never operate in Florida. He said if he's president, that CBDCs will never operate in the United States. And that's where I have to push back, and I want to hear your opinions. You can send an email to bookings@todayweb3.com or leave a comment below. Look, you see Brazil, China, and other countries are rolling out CBDCs. They're using the technology, blockchain technology, and other technologies to make payments quicker, settlements faster and cheaper, and more transparent. And this is what we need out of our digital money right now. There's also very big risks with a digital currency. We're talking about privacy. We're talking about controlling funds. We're saying that the government could possibly say you only can spend so much money a day, or only your money there, or only can get so much money a day. I mean, that's not even just controlling an ATM. We're talking about you cutting off your funds, no matter if you have it in your wallet at home in an ATM or not, as well as taxation in different ways as well. So CBDCs have lots of pros and lots of cons, and those cons are direct infringements of what we see as freedoms and constitutional liberties here in the United States. But at the same time, we have to figure out a happy middle where we protect rights and use technology that makes the United States dollar, the global reserve currency, as technologically advanced as other currencies around the world. If we don't, then it might be just too much of a hassle to deal with, and maybe the global reserve currency will be moving somewhere else. I doubt that, but don't give people reasons, right? We want it to work as fast, as cheaply as possible. Transact in the dollar, transact in Bitcoin, right? Speaking of Bitcoin has became the second largest NFT blockchain behind Ethereum. And everybody is saying like, oh, this is horrible because Bitcoin fees are up, transaction times on Bitcoin is down. So this is horrible for Bitcoin, which people are pushing back on this. For example, Michael Saylor said, every time someone builds an application that's cool on Bitcoin, like all the ordinals and inscriptions or whatever that are driving up transaction fees, it's a catalyst. An anonymous person said, contrary to what you might see in certain filter bubbles on Twitter, higher fees on Bitcoin is a very good thing. It indicates strong demand for Bitcoin's blockchain space, which is critical for long-term success of the protocol. And I couldn't agree more. This is going to be there's a payment settlement layer that's called Lightning, right? Bitcoin is now being used for other things besides payments, and that's ordinals and transcription. So I think that's an amazing thing. More people using the oldest, the safest, the most secure blockchain out there, the granddaddy. And if you're still using this as a store of value and you want to transfer funds, $50,000, $100,000, $1 million, or millions of dollars, you're not just buying coffee. If you're buying coffee, use Lightning. But if you're actually using this as a store of value, you want to transfer some funds to buy a brand new car or a brand new house or whatever that costs a lot of money, and it costs you $25, that's a win. That is a win. If it costs you $50, it costs you $100. It's still a win. Send $1 million for $100. It's a win. And finally, Gemini and the Winklevi are heading to Ireland. And it's going to be the new home of their European branch and their operations. Gemini was the first crypto company to be registered as a virtually asset service provider in Ireland. And this was back in July of 2022. The reason why they're setting up their HQ over there is because there's so many headwinds right now in the United States. It's hard to get anything done here. And so in order to keep building our business and invest in hiring, we have to look elsewhere. That is sad. Hopefully, we get a crypto-friendly executive branch here in the United States that we can have regulations. Everybody's calling for regulations, so we don't get rugged like FTX. Maybe a lot of people say that there were regulations and it wasn't a U.S. registered company. That was FTX.US, but the funds were co-mingling. We can go through that thought experiment and that conversation all day. But let's have a government that is pro-tech, pro-innovation, finding a way for people to build here so they don't have to move to Ireland, because you see people will move, and we don't want to lose all these companies. We don't want to lose our access, and we do have to figure out the balance between our rights, our freedoms, our liberties, and technology. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Happy hodling, everyone.